Welcome to our step-by-step guide on how to create a stunning homepage for your tour agency website using the Elementor Page Builder. If you're a website owner in the travel industry and want to build an attractive site without any coding, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll walk you through the entire process from start to finish. So let's dive in. So, the first section we're gonna make is the hero section, and I'm gonna put the container first and then go to the Style tab. Find the background settings to upload the background image you want to use. Here, I will click on the Choose Image and then select the image. As you can see that, we need to increase the height of the container because we want to see the big hero image. So, we're gonna change the minimum height of the container to 930 pixels on the Layout tabs. You can see now, we have a nice big hero image, which is ready for the image and text of hero section. So, we need to add the image, and I'm gonna drag the image widget to the container. Then, under the image, I also have to add the container. Here, I want to divide the image and the container into two columns by clicking on the navigator button at the bottom of the panel and then choosing the first container to change the direction of the container's item horizontally. Now you can see that we have two separate columns right there. On the right side, we have the image, and on the left side, we have the container where we can add the text later. So let's start with uploading a nice image by clicking on the image and then changing the full size of image and adding the image you want to show. You can see that the image is not showing up right at the top of section, so we need to align this image to the center of area. We're gonna click on the Advanced tab and align the image to the center position. Of course, this will be better when I've changed it. That looks great and is balanced. On the left side, we're gonna add the text or heading for the hero section. We also want to align the text to the area's center to make it look better. By clicking the container, we're gonna select the Advanced tab and then change the alignment of the container to the center area. As you can see that, the heading is moved to the center. If we click on the heading, we can change its name. So I'm going to give it a name like Euro Tour Travel. Then, we're gonna click on the Style tab and then click on Change Text Color to change the color and font of the text. We also need to change the font to a different one, like Caveat, and the size to 36 pixels. Finally, we need to change the text weight to bold font. So let's move on to add the new heading, and we're gonna add the heading to the container to make a hero message that says something about your tour website. For example, it could say Discover the best lovely place. To change the font, we need to switch to a different one in the Style tab, such as Nunito font. Here, we also need to change the font size to 60 pixels, and then change the font weight to black font. Then, we also need to add the last heading to the container. To do this, we'll drag the heading and give it a name that describes what makes your tour website unique. Here, we're gonna change the typography from the old one to the new one, which is Inter font, and also make the text 16 pixels wide. Also, we need to change the line height of the heading to 32 pixels. Obviously, you can see that the last heading is too wide, and we need to change the width of the heading to make it more narrow, or by clicking the heading and then moving to the Advanced tab to adjust the width by about 80%. Now, it's a lot better once we see it. So, we also need to add a few images to the Heroes section by uploading the image you want, and then making it to the full size. To move it to the top of the Heroes section, or any place of the container, you need to use the absolute positioning for the image. By clicking on the image and then moving to the Advanced tab to set the position to absolute for the image. that lets you break the grid and make a design that is both unique and easy to remember. So, we are moving the image to the top right there, no matter what the grid looks like. You can easily change the home page, even if you don't know how to code or use CSS. Also, you can do the same thing with the other image. We're gonna add the image, and then upload the images and set the position to absolute. And it can be moved to the bottom of the Heroes section. That looks really good. We need to add the entrance animation for the image on the right side, once the page is loading, by clicking on the image, and find the Motion Effect tab to set up the fade and right effect for that image. So let's add the entrance animation for other images on top of the page as well. To do this, click on the image, and set the fade and effect for that image. Then, we also add the entrance animation for the image at the bottom, and we're gonna add the fade and effect for that image. It's awesome. Now, we need to add the search bar, so people can look for the tour they want to take. On the left side panel of Elementor, we're gonna find the Form Search widget, and then drag it to the container. Here, we need to choose a service to display on the website. Of course, we have to choose a tour service, and then select the style of the search bar to Style 2. Also, we want to move the entire search bar to the Heroes section. To do this, click on the container, then go to the Advanced tab and change the top margin to -285 pixels, and the bottom margin to 160 pixels. That's right, the search bar is now in the Heroes section. When you're done with the Heroes section, hit the Update button to keep the changes you made. The next section we're gonna make is the destination list. We want to show up all the places or locations that people can visit. They will be inspired by these places, which will make them more likely to book when they get to your website. So we're gonna add the heading with a name like Top Destination, and then align it to the center. It is what we're going to do. On the Style tab, we also need to change the text color and typography. Here, we're gonna change the font to Nunito font, and the font size will be 48 pixels. Also, we need to change the weight of the heading to the black font. So, we also need to add a new heading that tells people what's new and interesting about these places. The heading will be moved under the first heading and then aligned it to the center. And we're gonna change the font of the heading. To do this, go to the Style tab and select Enter Font. The font size will be 16 pixels and the weight will be normal font. As you can see, we want to remove the empty space between the headings. To do this, we'll click on the container and then click on Unlink Values together in the gap settings, so that it will remove all the space between the heading. We will set the padding at the top to 100 pixels, and the padding at the bottom to 50 pixels on the Advanced tab. Now, we're done with the spacing for the container to make it easier to read. Then, we need to set a space between each heading. We're going to make the bottom border 20 pixels for the first one, and 30 pixels for the second one. Then, we also need to add the container, where we can add the image of the destination. That's why we're going to add the container, and then add it again inside the container. In this case, we can duplicate the container twice to make 3 containers. Here, we're gonna change the direction of the 3 containers to the horizontal way by clicking on the container and then selecting the row horizontally, so that this will show you the 3 columns. For the destination list section, we're gonna add the image for each column. So, we need to add the image for the first column, then upload the picture to the right place, and make sure the size is set to full size. It looks great. You can also add your own custom link right here. When people click on it, they will be taken to other places, where they can learn more about the destination. We need to change the image's border radius to 30 pixels on the Style tab. We also want to add the hover animation when they move their mouse over these images. For example, we picked the bob animation. Another thing we're gonna do is to add an entrance animation while the page is loading. We think that this is an important part of building a website that shouldn't be missed. Finally, we need to add more images to the first column, so we'll duplicate the first one and upload the second one right here. For the second columns, we also duplicate the image and drag it to the second columns. Then, we will start uploading the images. We can do the same process for the last columns by duplicating the image and dragging it to the third column. It's easy, right? Now, we think you've done with the destination list section, and we're gonna click the Update button to save our changes. Now, we also want to add a new section that will help people find the tours that are best for them. Before we start, we need to add a line that will help you separate the content to make it easier to see. So, we're gonna add the divider and change the new color. That looks great. Then we'll add the heading that says Tour Type and center it. Here, we can change the font and color of the text on the Style tab. The new font will be Nunito, and the font size will be 48 pixels and have a black weight. After that, we'll add the new heading under the new heading tour type. We'll need to change the font to Enter and set the font size to 16 pixels and line height to 32 pixels. As you can see, the heading is pretty wide, and we want to make it 55% wider and center it. It's clear that this will look better now. Then, we're gonna add the icon of each tour type for the sections. First, we need to add the container, and add the icon box later. Here, you can upload the icon, but remember that you have to upload SVG file for that icon to make sure it will display right. So we're gonna remove the description of icon box and just keep only the icon box's title, and we will name it like Excursion Tour, for example. If you want a bigger size of icon, we can go to the Style tab and change the icon size to 60 pixels. Then, we're gonna add the new hover animation, so we choose the bob animation. Also, we need to change the title color and typography. After that, we're gonna change the padding of icon box to 40 pixels. Here, we also change the background image of the icon box to the new colors. That looks great. Also, we want to change the border radius of icon box to 30 pixels. Lastly, we add the entrance animation for the icon box, and we decide to choose the zoom in effect. It's awesome, right? So we're gonna duplicate this icon box 3 times to create 4 different icon boxes right here, and we want to divide all of these icon boxes to 4 separate columns. To do this, we have to click on the container, and then choose the row horizontal for the container. Now, we have 4 different columns for the container, and start to change the image of each icon box. So, we can also rename each of icon box. Climbing tour, wedding tour, culinary tour. Here, we need to justify the spacing between the icon box by clicking on the container and adjust the content to the space evenly settings to make it more breathing space. It's cool, right? Lastly, we need to add more spacing for the whole section by clicking on the container and adjusting the top padding to 20 pixels, the bottom padding to 70 pixels. Finally, we have to click the Update button to keep our changes. Now, we're gonna add a new section that will give customers a reason to become members or keep coming back to your website. Then, we have to add the container first and upload the background image and change the position of the background to the center. After that, we also need to divide the sections into 2 columns. The heading goes in the first column, and the image goes in the second. So we're gonna add the image first, and add the container later. To divide the content into 2 parts, we need to click on the container, and change the direction of content to the row horizontal. That looks great. Now, we have to upload the image on the right side. Then, we're gonna add the heading on the left side. And of course, the title for the heading will be Member Discount, and we also have to change the text color and font for the heading on the Style tabs. Like the sections we talked about earlier, we also need to add more headings and change the color and style of the text. Finally, we're gonna add the button to the container. So let's drag the button right here and change the title. Get 25% OFF now. Also, you can add the button link to encourage people to click on that. Here, we're gonna change the text color and background color and then set the border radius to 30 pixels. On the Hover tab, we can change the text color and background color for the button. Lastly, add the hover animation to make it unique. That's cool, right? And don't forget to add the entrance animation for the image on the right side. As you can see, we need more spacing for the section, and we have to add the top padding and bottom padding to 50 pixels for that container. So, we have to hit the update button to keep our changes. The last section we're gonna make is the tour list. It allows you to showcase all your tours in one place and provide them with a complete overview of what you offer. First, we're gonna add the heading first, and then change the text color and typography. Then, we also need to add a new heading and change the typography. To set the spacing for the container, we're gonna add the top padding to 100 pixels for the container. So, we have to find the list item services to drag it into the container. We need to choose a tour service to display, choose the slider style, and select style number 2. Finally, we click the Update button to save our changes. Congratulations! You've just learned how to create a stunning homepage for your tour agency website. And the best part is, you didn't need to write a single line of code with Elementor Page Builder. We hope you found this tutorial helpful in your journey to create a standout website. Please like and subscribe for more easy-to-follow tutorials. Thanks for watching.